Dotting with Diamonds. My name is Em, and welcome back to another WIP N Chat here on the channel. Now, if you're new here and you don't know what a WIP N Chat is, it stands for Work in Progress and Chat. So you can take out anything it is that you're working on, you can work along with me, or if you're doing house chores and want a little background noise, whatever it is that you need, you know, just a little bit of company or noise, that is what these WIP N Chats are here to do. And I am so excited to be sitting here and talking to you guys. And if you're here, please say hi in the comments. I have missed you all dearly. I've missed talking to you, and we've got a lot to talk about. We've got a lot to catch up on. So if you need to grab a snack, grab some tea, grab your project, whatever it is, this is gonna be a long one because I've got a lot of things to talk about with you, and I'm very excited to finally have the opportunity and give myself the opportunity to sit down and work and chat with you. It's very exciting. How are you all doing? How was everybody's Thanksgiving for those who live in the States? How is everybody spending their holiday season? I am so happy that things are finally slowing down, that I finally have some time to breathe. If you don't know, a lot of you who are new here probably don't, and I'm still new to the YouTube community, so I haven't really spoken a lot about my personal life. If you don't know, I am a full-time college student. I went back to college at 22, so I've been working, towards getting my associates right now, and I'm actually graduating this semester, which is really exciting. I'm over the moon to be graduating from community college, and I will be going to a four-year college, very, very local to me, to finish out my degree in English. But this semester has just been absolutely overwhelming, and I just have had no time to breathe. So let's talk about it. Oh my goodness, I honestly don't even know where to start. So, when I came back from Disney in August, I worked at a hair salon for a few months over the summer, and then when school started back up, at the end of August, beginning of September, I completely underestimated how much work I was going to have. Just because with the online space that we're still in, which schools, especially colleges, are kind of segueing out of, which is good. I'm hoping to be on campus next semester. It just wasn't too terribly difficult, the classes. They were being very lenient with us, which I just had really great teachers. I don't know. But this semester, I took a history class that was absolutely ridiculous. There was too much work. I was in an honors English class this semester, and that didn't have as much work as this history class did. It was really ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. I was basically writing 3-page essays every single week, reading like 80 to 120 pages in the textbook every week, and on top of that doing 2 quizzes on the chapters every week. It was just bizarre, and I honestly don't know how I made it through that class, especially on top of everything else. So in addition to that, I also auditioned for the school musical. I used to be a theater major at my community college before I switched to English, and then I decided, you know what, this major isn't exactly what I was looking for, so I'm going to switch to English. But my love for theater obviously hadn't subsided, so I decided that I wanted to audition for the musical this semester and see some of my old friends and, hang out with them again and see everybody on campus again. And it was very exciting. I was very excited about it. I had gotten a lead in the musical. It was very exciting at the time. So I had to leave from my job at the hair salon because it was just too much. The show was performing at the end of November, and that's one of their busiest times, so I was like, I just won't be able to do that. So I had to leave, but I'm hoping to go back there, sometime in the beginning of the year, because I loved working there. I just loved the environment. They were so friendly. But let's talk about, listen, I love theater, okay? But the thing about theater is it's just chock full of drama, which is kind of ironic, right? Drama, theater, like, it just seems so, so ironic, but also really fitting that it would be drama-filled. It always has been. Always has been. But this time it wasn't the cast that was participating in the drama. It was our directors and our musical directors. There were a lot of instances during the rehearsal process that were not great. Our director and our musical director are very old, and that's not an excuse at all for their behavior and how we were treated. We were basically not treated. This is a college that is a college. Even though it is a community college, this is not high school. This theater program is highly, accredited by a lot of people where I live. It's, which is, I don't know. Anyway, I just had a very, very difficult time with these two people because we had a boy in our show who was a person of color, and unfortunately, during a one-on-one session with our musical director, she told him that he had to, it's so ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. She told him that she wanted him to sing like Al Johnson. Now, if you don't know who Al Johnson is, he was a comedian and a singer who was white and did blackface. She said this to a black man. I want to let that sink in for a second. It just was the most out of touch, strangest request to ask of a black man that I had the displeasure of hearing. And unfortunately, because of the nature of rehearsals, we taped all of our sessions when we were learning music so we could learn it and we can practice it, and he got this all on tape. So it was brought to the attention of our musical, not our musical director, of our department head, who then brought it to the attention of our musical director, and we had a whole rehearsal where they sat us down, and she said to us, "Hey, it's come to my attention that somebody took something that I said out of context," and we looked at each other and we were like, what are you talking about? Out of like, what? And then she explained to us the situation, which we were all aware of because we all heard the voice memo. And she then tried to justify herself as to why what she was saying was appropriate when it was not appropriate. And instead of apologizing, she tried to make excuses. And it was honestly really, really unprofessional and very, just totally out of touch, just trying to convince us all that she was not a racist. So, yeah, just lovely, a lovely woman. And then our lovely director took it upon herself to then tell us, to punish us, the cast, for it by saying that they can't trust us anymore. And because of that, and on top of the fact that they felt like our department was going to get sued, they decided they were going to cut a lot of the comedic bits from the show. And I didn't mention what the show was. We were doing Young Frankenstein. So for those of you who know what Young Frankenstein is, it is a Mel Brooks show, and it is a show that requires risque and lewd comments and jokes, and it wouldn't work if you cut all that out of the show. And we were so upset. And we later learned that this was a manipulation tactic to get us to work harder. which is terrible. It was so mind-boggling to me that these women had the audacity to do something like that. I was so thankful that this was my last show at this college, because I could not, I don't know if I could have handled all of that. And thankfully, the whole cast were in the same boat. We all had each other's backs, and we did our part to make the show great. We made the show good. Our directors really had nothing to do with it. They really, like, I'm not even kidding. It's not an over-exaggeration when I tell you that they were belittling, they were hurtful and discriminatory, and just totally old farts. And and not every 60, 70-year-old person is an old fart. Yeah, an old fart to me is somebody who is out of touch with the world as it is today, who is totally just a rude, mean, elderly person. And it was awful. And that was that experience, and that was 3 months of my life at the theater in school, from 6 o'clock at night, or usually the 5:30 at night, to 10:30, 11, some nights even midnight. They would sit and talk to us and give us lectures until midnight, when a lot of us had classes in the morning. Luckily, most of my classes were online, but it was just, I cannot... I vented about this a lot to my family, to obviously people that were there. We've all talked about it, but it was really unfortunate that was a lot of people's first college show experience. And they kept saying, like, oh, this is what it's like in the real world. I mean, no, it's not. I've worked semi in the real world in theater, and it's not like that. Is there drama? Yeah, there's drama. It's theater. That's just how it is. And that's honestly my least favorite part about theater, is the drama that occurs off stage and not on stage. But it's not to that extent. Definitely not to that extent. From what I've experienced, anyway. From working in the quote-unquote real world of theater. So that was basically my life for the past 3 months. The good news about it is that I was lucky enough to be nominated for a musical theater scholarship for the role I played in that show. So that was one good thing that came from it, and made me feel like my work was was valued and meant something, and that I did well given the circumstances. It really meant a lot for that. But that was that, and things started to slow down, sort of. I made a lot of new friends from this show, who keep constantly asking me to do things. And here's the thing with me, okay? I love hanging out with people, I really do, but I have a certain threshold. I have a limit of how much I can hang out with someone, or hang out and go out in general, before I get burnt out. And I'm at the point where I'm like, okay, I'm a little burnt out, and I want to just not go out anymore. So I've been like struggling all my life to figure out whether or not I'm an introvert or an extrovert, because I feel like I'm pretty extroverted. I like to hang out with people, and I like to talk to people and mingle, but I get so drained from going to parties, or hanging out with people, or going to get a drink, or going out to dinner. I love doing it, but then I get home and I'm like, but only after a certain period of time. That's the thing. Like, I can do it, I can go out for months. I did for 3 months. All I did was go out. My bank account is dwindling down to nothing. But I'm at the point now, when everything is slowing down, then I'm like, well, I want to stay home. It's the holiday season. I've got finals now. I've got essays to write. There's a lot going on. But it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I like to be busy, but this was the type of busy that was too much for me. My schoolwork was just overwhelming. it was not a fun time. I did not have a fun time these past 3 months. But it's fine because it's all over now and I can breathe a little bit easier. So, like, I was invited to karaoke, and I said I would go, and then I texted my friend and I was like, okay, hey, listen. I was like, I wanted to come to karaoke, I really did, but you guys are all going out at 9 o'clock, and I'm tired, and I have homework to do, and I have stuff to do. I mean, some of it was an excuse, obviously. I really just wanted to be home. But I told them that too, and they were very understanding. They're very nice people. The thing with these friends, though, as well, is that they are a lot younger than me, and that's not a huge issue, but there's obviously, in some instances, like, a clear maturity gap, because some of them are, like, 18 years old. I'm 24, so it's a pretty big jump from 18 to 24 at this age, like, at this point in time. That's a big jump, so I don't, you know, I would like to start hanging out with people, like, a little bit closer to my age, so, I mean, they're not even old enough to drink, so I can't even, like, be like, hey, let's go to a bar, or, you know, do something else other than go out to Applebee's for half-apps every single night, which is what we did a lot, and they're very nice. I mean, a lot of them are a little more mature for their age, but, you know, it gets to a point where I'm like, okay, I just want to take some time for myself. What symbol am I doing? I don't even know. What am I doing? What am I looking for? I'm looking for 37. I was just struggling to look for baggie number 37 for a bit too long, so that probably was all cut. I apologize. What are your traditions for the holidays? My mom, for the past couple of years, has been doing, like, a scratch-off advent calendar, so she purchased, like, 25 scratch-off tickets for me and my boyfriend to scratch every day, and it's been super fun. Not a lot of winners, but we're making off, like, okay. but that's something new that we decided to do every year as a tradition. She used to, when we were younger, have this homemade advent calendar, and it had pictures of our faces on it and our cats and other stuff. And in that little advent calendar, it was like little drawers that you would pull out, and in it there'd be candies, or there would be like a little note that said, you know, oh, you get a present early, which was really exciting. Those were always fun to get, but those were few and far between, because if that was all throughout the advent calendar, we'd have nothing to open on Christmas. So that was always fun. So an advent calendar has always been kind of a tradition in my family, but this year, we're not really doing gifts this year. We're doing we're all old now. We're old farts, and we want money, and we don't really want, like, tangible things, and we don't really want things either. We want things that we can, we want cash, or we want gift cards or Visa gift cards, so we can buy things we want at our own time, at our own leisure. That way we're not given things that we don't need. Oh, I'm getting a phone call. Hold on. Sorry about that. That was one of my friends probably asking why I'm not coming out tonight. Because we just talked about this. I am exhausted. I'm exhausted. I also didn't tell her I was not coming out tonight, but, yeah, that's funny. Yes, so this, get myself back on track. So this year, we're not doing gifts, we're doing, like, stocking stuff, we're doing little things, but both me and my brother, we both were like, please just, you know, if you want to get us something, get us money, because that way we don't have all this, you know, just kind of stuff that we don't necessarily want or need or want to use, and that way, you know, if we have cash, or we have Visa gift cards, or even, like, a $10 Starbucks gift card, at least that's something that we can implement and use, you know, for whatever. We get our own Christmas gifts, and I can buy more diamond paintings. Yeah, and then with my dad this year, we're not doing gifts because our gift this year is the trip of going to Aruba for New Year's, which is so exciting. I'm so excited about going to Aruba for New Year's. This was something that we had planned since the beginning of this year, and the fact that it's already here is kind of insane. It's just kind of unbelievable how quickly this year flew by. I don't know about anybody else, but for me, this year has gone so fast. So much has happened this year. And this month just seems to be going so slow because I have something to look forward to. It's very exciting. I'm very excited. I haven't traveled outside of the country in a very long time, and especially with all the COVID craziness going on, it obviously was off the table. But now since travel is opening back up, that's something that we decided we are going to do. So I'm going with my dad, my stepmom, my brother, and then my dad's sister and my cousins are also going to come along with us. That's usually their tradition. They go every year to Aruba for the new year. At least recently anyway. I'm not sure if they were doing that every year, but I'm pretty sure they go to Aruba every year. So it's very exciting, and I'm excited to be a part of that and to sit by the beach and the warm weather, because I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm not a fan of the cold at all. The cold does bother me. It doesn't bother Elsa, but it bothers me. I can't stand the cold. I love warm weather. I would rather it be hot all year round and I can put on an air conditioner if I please, than it being cold all year round and having to bundle up, and then when I take off the layers, I'm still cold. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I don't know. But I'm so excited about that. And I don't know what the restrictions are in Aruba in terms of like their COVID regulations. I do believe that things are still closing early. We do have to wear masks, and I was planning on wearing a mask anyway, so that's not an issue for me. But I'm so excited about it. And that's kind of what's been getting me through these past 3 months. It's like, if I get through this semester, I can go to Aruba, and it's fine. At the end of the tunnel, at the end of this long road of crying and stress and mental breakdowns is Aruba. And I'm excited. Oh, so I totally forgot to mention, during our run, speaking, because I just, like, blew my nose, and which is why there was a cut there, I totally forgot to mention, and I wanted to talk about, how I've been sick for almost, I mean, I'm definitely better now, but it's been over 3 weeks, and I wanted to talk about it because it's just, it was a mix. I got sick because of the stress I was under and just going without a break. And what happened was, one of the leads in our show came down with mono. And because he came down with mono, he actually missed the opening night of our show, which was kind of a wild thing, and it's something I've never experienced before of having, we had no understudies for this show. So we had to call on an actor from the theater department, to learn his role in the span of an afternoon. But at the same time, I was also starting to feel not well. And one of the other leads, male leads, also was not feeling well. And we had very similar symptoms to what our friend who was missing the show was experiencing. So, in order to be safe, we decided to go to urgent care just to get tested for mono, because if he had it, We're both in close proximity to him during the show. So we kind of figured if he had it, then there was a good chance that we did as well, because mono is extremely contagious, and he's spitting on our faces in the show, and so, like, you know, it just kind of seemed inevitable. So we went, and he was taken in first, I was taken in after him, and I was talking to the nurse, and I was like, yeah, you know, one of my friends, someone that I've been spending a lot of time with, someone who I've been getting pretty close with, has mono, and found out recently that he has mono, and I'm experiencing some of the same symptoms as him, so I just wanted to get tested. And she was like, oh, okay. And then, of course, the obligatory, like, we want to test you for COVID as well. And I was like, I know it's not COVID, but okay, fine. I'm like, go for it, do what you have to do. And of course, it came back negative. That was after the fact. I knew I didn't have COVID. So the doctor or the nurse or the practitioner came in and was talking to me, and she said she pretty much refused to give me the test for mono. And her reason being is she thought that it was too early to test me for mono. And I kind of looked at her, and I was like, what? I don't understand what you mean by that, because my friend was just diagnosed with it. He started experiencing symptoms yesterday, went and got tested, and was positive for mono, and I am also experiencing similar symptoms, so I don't know why that doesn't warrant me being able to get a test for mono. I don't know. She was kind of rude about it, and saying that, like, oh, yeah, you know, you do have swollen lymph nodes, you know, does your throat hurt? And I was like, no, my throat doesn't hurt. Because at the time it didn't. And, you know, I just wanted to be honest and transparent with her about, you know, the symptoms I was having. But because I wasn't experiencing a sore throat, but I had the postnasal drip, I had the headaches, I had the fatigue, I had literally no energy, and I had the swollen lymph nodes, but I had everything but the sore throat. And she refused to give me the test. And, so I was like, all right, so I just got the COVID test, and I paid a $30 copay for a COVID test, which was really frustrating. So I left, and I talked to my friend, and I was like, hey, did they give you the test? And they're like, yeah, but she was kind of, like, rude about it. She wasn't, you know, really all for me getting the test. So I guess he advocated for himself a little more, but at that point, he already had the sore throat. I did not. I didn't get a sore throat until the following week, and it was terrible. It was so bad. And at that point, when that happened, I thought, I didn't find, you know, the need to go back to get tested for it, because I just kind of, I was like, listen, we have the same symptoms. I just happened to get the sore throat later than you did. I don't need to go and have them test me for something that I know they can't do much for anyway. So throughout the entire run of our show, our 2-week-long show, I was so ill. I had no energy. All I wanted to do was sleep.
Hey, it's Emily from the future here. I totally forgot to mention that the person I went to get tested with was positive for mono. So I don't know why I totally omitted that. Anyway, back to the WIP N Chat.
Oh my gosh, it was terrible. It was so bad. And it wasn't until the show actually ended and I was able to finally rest that I started to feel a little bit better. I have to tell you though, the amount of tea that I drank for my throat to be able to sing, the amount of honey I went through is kind of unbelievable. I had a full bottle of honey that was barely used in my cabinet, and a good half of it, if not more, has been used because I was just, I was pretty much drowning myself in honey because my throat hurt so badly. And the worst part is that there was nothing I can do. I took Dayquil and it was great and it made me feel better for a little bit. So whenever I had a show, I would take Dayquil a few hours beforehand, and I would be able to make it through the show okay. But then as soon as that Dayquil wore off, I was back to feeling like shit. And that lasted for a good 3 weeks. And it wasn't until a couple days ago when I was finally like, oh my gosh, I'm finally feeling a little better. Because then it kind of turned into a cold. I had the worst runny nose, and dry cough, and it was like, oh, I just could not get better. And my nose is still stuffed, but I'm not really as congested anymore, which I'm so happy about. I'm so tired of being sick. But I also am finding that I'm still getting tired really early and really easily. I've noticed I've been getting tired at like 8 o'clock, 8:30, which is so early for me. I go to bed at like midnight, sometimes 2 in the morning. So that's how I know that, you know, something's off. I'm still not 100% better. I feel okay, but I still don't have the amount of energy that I once did. I'm relying heavily on caffeine, and even caffeine's not even working. You know, when caffeine's working, it's not. When caffeine isn't working, it's not good. But yeah, I've finally been able to sit and do some diamond painting. I've had a little bit more time, but at the same time, I've been really focusing still on school. I'm trying to get back to a regular posting schedule, so I'm hoping to have some kind of end of year wrap up videos out very soon. I want to do a stash video and show you guys the kits I've accumulated over this past year, because it's definitely more than I had last year. And that's kind of thanks to these accounts. If you don't follow me on Instagram, I'll have it linked below. But I actually started that Instagram the day of January 1st, 2021, the new year. I was like, you know what? This is going to be my new year project. I'm going to start a diamond painting account because I love it so much. And I cannot believe where it is and how much it's grown. I mean, there are others who have obviously totally surpassed me, but I don't look at other people's success and compare it to my own success. I feel like the amount of growth I did on Instagram and on YouTube as a content creator this past year is really amazing. I'm very proud of it. I love doing it, and my resolution is to hopefully find a schedule and get into a rhythm where I can do more of it, because I have so much fun with it. And I just love being able to talk to you guys about diamond painting, because it's something that is so relaxing and so therapeutic for so many reasons. And yeah, I'm glad that there's a community, a kind community, who enjoys diamond painting just as much as I do. It's so nice. It really is amazing, and I'm very happy about it. I feel like this WIP N Chat was all over the place because there was so much that went on these past 3 months, and I know I'm not fitting everything into this WIP N Chat. I know I'm not. Because there's just so much. I need to start writing things down. I used to keep a journal, and I don't write as much anymore because I don't know, I spend so much time diamond painting and doing other things that I forget to write things down. But I really should, because I feel like it would help keep my thoughts in check with these WIP N Chats. I feel like my mind goes into a million different places at once when filming these. Sometimes it doesn't go anywhere. My mind totally blanks and I can't think of anything to talk about, which is so ridiculous. But yeah, I am very excited to be back. I'm very excited to start filming videos again and to be doing it on a somewhat hopefully consistent basis. And I cannot wait to see what the future holds in the new year. At this point, I'm kind of just rambling, so I think this is a good time for me to end it. But I'm so happy to be back. I will have a more cohesive and put together WIP N Chat. A WIP N Chat. I don't know what that is, but I'll have a more cohesive WIP N Chat next week. Because I'll have a more linear things to talk about and stuff to talk about. So I hope you all have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, night, whenever it is you are watching this. And I hope you continue to spread positivity and creativity in your everyday lives. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye!